Hey everyone, I'm the Anime Broker, and today I have created 6 scenarios about what if each Hashira went to Mount Natagomo to save Tanjiro instead of Giyu and Shinobu, and how would each of them react when they see Nezuko. To not waste any of your time, let's get into it. Number 1. What if Master Kaguya Ubuyashiki chose Rengoku to go to Mount Natagomo instead of Giyu and Shinobu? Well, a lot would change. As you can see, unlike Giyu, Rengoku's partner was Kane Kocho, the flower Hashira, but since she died, Rengoku had to work alone by himself ever since. So in that case, there would be only one Hashira going to Mount Natagomo this time, but this Hashira would be none other than the top 3 strongest Hashira, Rengoku. Rengoku always went to his missions faster than he should have, plus he could travel faster than Shinobu and Giyu, but sometimes he would most likely get the wrong information or go to the wrong place, like we saw in Mugen Train. So, in this storyline, Rengoku would arrive when Tanjiro was fighting the Daddy Spider with Inosuke. He would save Tanjiro and Inosuke by cutting off the Daddy Spider's head and looking cool. Tanjiro and Inosuke would be shocked because they had never seen a Hashira before. Tanjiro might be thinking, who is this flame-haired uncle? But he would also smell the sense of justice inside Rengoku. Inosuke, on the other hand, would want to challenge Rengoku to fight with him as usual. Immediately after he talked to them, he would sense that there was a demon on Tanjiro's back and he would try his best to kill that little demon, just like Shinobu wanted to kill Nezuko. Rengoku was not a heartless Hashira. He would listen to Tanjiro's story and know that Giyu was aware of this. But when they were chasing each other, they would find Rui. Immediately after seeing Rui, Rengoku would know that Rui was a lower moon demon. Without wasting his time, he would use the 9th form, Rengoku, to kill both Rui and his sister, Spider Demon, just to flex on his new fellow demon slayers, Tanjiro and Pigboy. After they killed all the Spider Demon family, Tanjiro and Inosuke would go to find Zenitsu, but sadly our yellow boy had already turned into a spider, but he had not died yet. Zenitsu might take a longer time to recover this time, so he could not become a trio with Tanjiro and Inosuke and go to the mission together. But Rengoku would still drag Tanjiro to meet Master Kaguya and all the Hashiras. Rengoku would tell Master Kaguya that Giyu was behind all of this, but Rengoku believed that Giyu was a reasonable person, so he would give them a chance to explain. The story would go out like the original story, but instead of staying at the Butterfly Mansion, Tanjiro and Inosuke would train at Rengoku's house, because Tanjiro had not gotten any injuries at all this time. Only Zenitsu would stay at the Butterfly Mansion alone. If Tanjiro went to train flame breathing at Rengoku's house this time, he would soon enough find out about his sun-breathing bloodline and be taught by Rengoku himself. Even though Rengoku's father did not want to write Tanjiro about the secret of sun-breathing, like in the original story, flame breathing was one of the closest ones to sun breathing. Tanjiro would become much stronger than in the original story, and for sure, this time he would help Rengoku in his mission, but there would be no Zenitsu this time. The story in Mugen Train would still be the same, as Chef Akaza would cook Rengoku's donut. But the death of Rengoku would make Rengoku's father agree to teach Tanjiro about the sun breathing this time. At the entertainment district, Tanjiro would use sun breathing to attack Daki right away and win without help from Nezuko. As we know, Nezuko's true power was adaptation. The stronger the force that attacked her body, the more her body would adapt and become stronger to defend herself. So, if Nezuko had not been attacked by Daki, she would still be a cute demon without a horn. But remember, if Tanjiro could take down Daki, Gyutaro would come out immediately to attack them. So this time Nezuko might get even stronger attacks from Gyutaro, and her adaptation power would take the information and turn her into an even stronger demon. This time with 2 horns. With sun-breathing Tanjiro, 2-horned Nezuko, and Tengen, they would easily beat Daki and Gyutaro without Tengen losing his hand. What if number 2? What if the wind Hashira Sanemi Shinazugawa went to Mount Natagomo? If he went to save those demon slayers, Sanemi Shinazugawa would not be afraid to kill all those demon slayers who were controlled by the spider demon, but he knew the price. He would cut himself to make those small demons weaker, and he would run directly to Rui himself. When he saw Tanjiro fighting with Rui, he would not only kill Rui, but also Nezuko, no matter how much Tanjiro begged him. When Tanjiro brought up that Giyu Tomioka was also aware of Nezuko's existence, it would make Sanemi angrier, and he would kill Nezuko immediately, because he hated Giyu so much, and he thought Giyu was always breaking the rule. After killing Nezuko, Tanjiro would knock Sanemi out with his strong forehead, and both of them would have a fight. Tanjiro would get stabbed many times by Sanemi and brutally injured. Speaking of injuries, Tanjiro was lucky because he only got injured. But if we look at Inosuke, his head was crushed by the daddy spider because this time there was no Giyu to save his butt. Same as Zenitsu, he would die this time because Sanemi did not call the Kakushi doctors to cure any of these demon slayers. After the battle ended, Tanjiro would not stay at the Butterfly Mansion, but he would go back to Mr. Urokodaki's house to heal himself. Giyu would also come to see him and feel sorry about Sanemi killing his demon sister. Tanjiro, after losing everything, would become mad and go to Muzan and ask him to turn him into a demon. Soon enough, Kokushibo would find out that Tanjiro was from the sun-breathing bloodline. He would teach him the original sun-breathing technique because Kokushibo was also a former sun-breathing user when he was still a human. Tanjiro, as a demon who used sun-breathing and was also taught by the Upper Moon 1, would soon enough beat Akaza and Doma to become the Upper Moon 2 himself. Because they had a hard time tracking Sanemi, and Tanjiro also did not know the location of the Demon Slayer headquarters yet, he would kidnap Genya so Sanemi would come to save his little brother. With Kokushibo's help, Tanjiro would easily defeat Sanemi and all the Hashiras one by one until only Giyu was left. Tanjiro would ask Kokushibo to betray Muzan and become the Demon King himself. He would make Giyu consume the wisteria flower and let Muzan eat him. Muzan would die by that trick, and then Tanjiro would become the Demon King himself, and the demon population would continue to grow. No one would stop Tanjiro this time because he had already lost most of his memory as a human. What if number 3? What if Mitsuri and Obanai went to Mount Natagomo? This time, Mitsuri and Obanai, the love Hashira and the serpent Hashira, were sent to Mount Natagomo instead of Giyu and Shinobu. They arrived at the scene and saw the spider-infested forest. Mitsuri was horrified by the sight, but Obanai was calm and composed. He calmed her down and told her to close her eyes. He told her to follow his lead and not to let her guard down. They encountered some of the demon slayers who had been turned into spiders, and Mitsuri hesitated to kill them. Obanai scolded her and reminded her of their duty, and also that they were still alive and they might be able to save them. He used his snake sword to cut down the enemies, while Mitsuri used her love breathing to create shockwaves. They managed to reach the mountain, where they faced Rui and his family. Obanai fought Rui with Tanjiro, while Mitsuri fought the father spider with Inosuke. Obanai was able to dodge Rui's threads, but he was not strong enough to break them. He got injured by Rui's attacks, and Mitsuri saw him in danger. She abandoned her fight and rushed to help him. She used her love breathing to create a powerful blast that destroyed Rui's threads, and Obanai's snake was the one who saved Zenitsu this time by using its snake venom to stop the demon poison. After defeating all the spider family demons, Mitsuri was so relieved because she hated spiders so much that she almost fought with her eyes closed the whole time. Obanai immediately tried to kill Nezuko because he thought she was a threat, but after seeing Nezuko, Mitsuri thought that Nezuko was too adorable to kill, and she begged Obanai to let them go. After the Hashira meeting arc, Mitsuri offered Tanjiro and Nezuko to become her students because she loved the bond between them, and she loved Nezuko like her little sister. Nezuko would learn how to use a sword like Mitsuri, and Tanjiro would learn about sun-breathing from Mitsuri because Mitsuri had trained in Rengoku's house before, and Rengoku was her mentor. She would bring Tanjiro to meet Rengoku in the Mugen train with her. So this time it would be like the original story plus Mitsuri. Mitsuri would easily defeat Enmu, and Rengoku would protect the passengers. After Akaza showed up, he would immediately aim for Inosuke this time, because if Tanjiro was not injured, Akaza would aim for the weakest one, which was Inosuke. Both the Flame Hashira and the Love Hashira would try their best to protect them and the passengers. With Rengoku and Mitsuri's strength combined, they would give Akaza a hard time. In the end, they would kill Akaza with Tanjiro and Inosuke's help. In the Entertainment District arc and the Swordsmith Village arc, things would also play out the same, but there would be a dramatic change in the final battle at the Infinity Castle, where there would be no Akaza to fight with Giyu and Tanjiro. So Tanjiro would help Kanao and Shinobu defeat Doma without Shinobu dying, and our boy Giyu would help Sanemi and Obanai defeat the Upper Moon one, Kokushibo. In the end, Shinobu would still die, but we would save her this time. What if number 4? What if the stone Hashira went to Mount Natagomo? Gyomei, the stone stone Hashira, was chosen by Master Kagaya Ubuyashiki to go to Mount Natagomo because there were stronger demons there who had already killed Giyu and Shinobu. The only demon who could kill both Shinobu and Giyu might be Doma, the upper moon too. So this time, the stone Hashira went to Mount Natagomo alone to avenge Giyu and Shinobu. He was confident that he could handle the situation by himself. He arrived at the forest and saw the spider demons. He was disgusted by them and decided to exterminate them all. He used his stone breathing to create massive shock waves that crushed the spiders and the trees. He reached the mountain where he faced Rui and his family. He was not intimidated by them and challenged them to a fight. He fought Rui while the other spider demons tried to stop him. He was able to break Rui's threads with his strength, and he smashed Rui's head with his axe. He then proceeded to kill the other spider demons one by one with his brute force. He showed no mercy and no emotion this time because he was mad that Shinobu, whom he had saved and raised like his little sister, had died by the demon's hand, but he still cried as always, but this tear was for Giyu and Shinobu. After he killed all the spider family, Doma showed up and attacked him with his frozen ice. He froze the stone Hashira and was about to bite him when Tanjiro, our boy, came to save him by melting Doma's ice with his flame sword. Both of them were able to defeat Doma, the upper moon too, in Mount Natagomo. So what would happen if Doma died? Well, Akaza must be partying because now he had a free ticket to become the upper moon too without even trying. And Muzan must be fuming because this was the first time in a century that an upper moon had been killed. He would call the 12 Kizuki to a meeting this time, and none of the lower moons had been killed yet. Muzan would wait until he had a good opportunity to strike all at once, and that opportunity was none other than the Swordsmith village. He would send all the lower moons to attack the Swordsmith village, with Yoko and Hontengu, the upper moon 4. Daki, Yutaro, and Akaza would attack Tengen and Tanjiro at the entertainment district. So if Tanjiro died in the entertainment district, Muichiro and Mitsuri would have no help in the Swordsmith village. In the end, the result would be Mitsuri dying and Muichiro getting poisoned after defeating Gyoko. But he would still be alive, but before Mitsuri died, she would be able to kill all the lower moon demons. So now the upper moon demons would only be Hantengu, Akaza, and Kokushibo, and the Hashira would only have Obanai, Sanemi, Gyomei, Muichiro, and Rengoku. After Tanjiro was killed in the entertainment district arc, Akaza would kidnap Nezuko and take her to Muzan. But luckily, Muzan would not find out about Nezuko's ability to walk under the sun yet. He would just inject more blood into her to make her listen to him. So who do you think would win in the final battle? Comment down below. What if number 5? What if Tengen went to Mount Natagomo? Tengen, the sound Hashira, would go to Mount Natagomo with his 3 wives. He would be a little bit different from other Hashiras. He would be excited to have a fun adventure with this mission, and he would not take the situation seriously. But hey, to make this possible, that would mean he would not be involved with the entertainment district, and he would not make his wives into spies to spy on Daki, the upper moon 6. So in this story, after he arrived at the forest and saw the spider demons, he would be amused by them and decide to play with them. He would use his sound breathing to create sonic booms that would stun the spiders in the trees. He would reach the mountain where he would face Rui and his family. He would not be impressed by them, and he would mock them for their appearance. He would fight Rui while his wives would fight the other spider demons. He would be able to dodge Rui's threads with his speed, and he would slash Rui's neck with his sword. He would then proceed to flirt with the other spider demons and try to convince them to join his harem. He would show no respect and no fear. He would complete his mission and leave the mountain. He would not care about the fate of the other demon slayers, nor would he notice Tanjiro and Nezuko. He would only care about having fun with his wives. But he would sense that Nezuko was a demon, but he would let it slide like a cool guy. So if there was no one who wanted to kill Nezuko, the crow would not have to shout to bring Nezuko and Tanjiro into the Hashira meeting. So Nezuko and Tanjiro would continue to be sibling demon slayers, and no one would know about Nezuko's existence. If that happened, Tanjiro would not know about all those Hashiras, and he would not need to go on a mission with Rengoku at all. Rengoku would die alone, Tengen would also die by Gyutaro and Daki, Muichiro and Mitsuri would also die, because there would be no Tanjiro to be their assistant this time. What if number 6? What if Muichiro Tokido went to Mount Natagomo? If Muichiro, the Mist Hashira, went to Mount Natagomo alone, he would be indifferent to the situation and have no emotions. He would arrive at the forest and see the spider demons. He would not react to them and decide to kill them all. He would use his mist breathing to create a fog that obscures the vision of the spiders and the trees. He would reach the mountain, where he would face Rui and his family. He would not acknowledge them and decide to eliminate them. He would fight Rui while the other spider demons would try to attack him. He would be able to cut Rui's threads with his sword, and he would stab Rui's heart with his blade. He would then proceed to kill the other spider demons one by one. With his precision, he would show no emotion and no hesitation. He would complete his mission and leave the mountain. He would not care about the fate of the other demon slayers, nor would he notice Tanjiro and Nezuko. He would only care about fulfilling his duty as a Hashira. The only one Muichiro would bring back with him would be Inosuke, because he would see him nearly dead, and Zenitsu would already be dead, so he would not care. Tanjiro and Nezuko would still be fine, and Muichiro would already forget about them. In the Butterfly Estate arc, Muichiro would return to the Butterfly Estate, where he would report his success to Kagaya Ubuyashiki. He would not mention anything about the other demon slayers who went to Mount Natagomo, nor would he show any concern for them. He would be praised by Kagaya for his efficiency and loyalty, and he would be assigned to the next mission. He would not interact with any of the other Hashiras or the injured demon slayers, and he would not recognize his twin brother Yuichiro, who would be treated by Shinobu Kocho. He would leave the estate as soon as possible, without saying goodbye to anyone. But in the Entertainment District arc, Tengen would approach the girls as usual, but this time Muichiro and Inosuke would agree to go with Tengen, only because they both had girly faces, so it would fit with the mission. With the Mist Hashira and Tengen, Gyutaro and Daki would not stand a chance at all. After defeating them both, Tengen and Inosuke would also go to the Swordsmith village this time. Tengen and Inosuke would have a hard time fighting Hantengu, but he would be killed at the end with Mitsuri's help. Muichiro Tokito would still kill Gyoko, and the story would stay the same. But if Nezuko was not there, and she did not find out about her ability to withstand the sun, Muzan would have no reason to attack the Demon Slayer headquarters.